guys are doing all right. And I hope you guys can hear me. Okay, so if you can hear me, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate that. So we know those of us that are ready to learn and those of us that, are just here to say hi as well. So whatever category you find yourself in, please just go ahead, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs up, or just type in the chat, hello. All right, so I can see some comments already. Awesome, awesome, fantastic. Okay, so not to waste too much of our time, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce what we have for today. Okay, what we have for today. Today we are going to be looking into the world of HR analytics. And I'm sure a lot of us here are curious to know exactly what we can do with our data using tools such as Power BI or even Excel to derive insights and make decisions about HR related information. All right. So today we are going to go ahead and look at that. Just give me a minute. Let me bring my screen up and we can get started. All right. All right, so I believe you can all see my screen. If you can see my screen, just give me a thumbs up or just type in the chat, yes, I can see your screen. Okay, if you can see my screen, give me a thumbs up or just type in the chat, yes, I can see your screen. All right, Sophie is giving me a thumbs up already. I believe you can all see my screen on full mode right now, full screen mode. All right. Okay. All right. So I can see that some of us are not yes, we can see your screen. Fantastic. Okay. So before we get started tonight, I would like us to actually go through some understanding of, what we are here for, first of all. Okay, so I believe I mentioned earlier that we are looking at HR analytics today, all right? And one of the interesting things that we're going to be doing today is understanding how we can use data to find out why employees leave their jobs within diverse organizations, all right? To find out why employees leave their job within diverse organizations. And before I dive into this topic fully, I would like to also introduce our company, which is Tenalytics, all right? So Tenalytics is an edtech company that has helped diverse amounts of people transition into tech. Tenalytics is an edtech company that is focused on providing specialized training across diverse technical skills, and it has been around for over 4 years, building talent from technological workforce, and has helped over 2,000 people transition into tech from their classroom or even no tech experience to their first jobs in tech across UK, US, Canada, Europe, Africa, and Asia. All right. So we are committed to making the technological sector more accessible, especially to people of the Black community, helping them to understand how to use how to apply skill sets such as data analytics, business analytics, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, Scrum Master, and AI engineering. And today we are also going to be seeing how we can use some tools in the area of HR analytics to help us derive insights as to things that could be happening with our staffs within our organization. All right. So our team of instructors are from global companies such as Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey, Amazon, and so on. And we bring a wealth of experience from real world experiences, and we are dedicated to helping you to assess a practical learning experience that ensures that you get maximum value and also ready for the job market. All right. So I'm also going to go ahead and give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Mary. I am a senior data associate at Analytics with over half a decade of experience in data analytics, data science, and HR analytics. So I have a very good expertise in the areas of HR, and I also have a good technological skill sets in areas such as Power BI, Excel, Tableau, Python, and SQL. So as a senior data associate at Analytics, I've been able to help over 1,065 people transition into tech. So I have a span of experience across diverse industries, including the legislative bodies of the House of Representatives, the importation and marketing, as well as NGOs, and finally, the EdTech sector. All right. And today I'm going to be applying some of those experiences into what we are going to be doing today. All right. So awesome. All right. So we are going to continue from here. Okay. So before we dive in, I would like us to see exactly what we are going to be doing today. All right. Okay, so for today, we are going to be walking through understanding what people analytics is, or in your case, HR analytics. So people analytics, HR analytics is still in the same circle, right? Now, after we finish understanding exactly what this is, we are going to be joining hands together to work on a hands-on practical case study where we'll be understanding exactly why employees leave their jobs, all right? So we're going to be taking on a practical case study today, working with tools like Power BI to actually help us understand how we can fish out some of the challenges a company might be facing in terms of attrition, all right? So the next thing we're going to do after that is to understand how we can get started as HR analysts and get ourselves job ready in the market today. And finally, we're going to look at our upcoming cohorts and also some of our success stories in the past few months and also few years. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so before I continue, I would just like to throw a question to the house, just so I know that, those that are here are actually for us, okay? So I'd like to know how many of us here are interested in HR analytics? How many of us here are interested in HR analytics, maybe as a career path or as an interest area, just something that you like to learn and know how to use it, okay? Just for your organization, for your business, whatever it may be, all right? Just type it in the chat, I'm interested, I'm interested, I'm interested. I just want to see you guys, interacting and also ready to learn. All right? All right, so I can see Nafisat. Okay, can see Nafisat is interested. Deborah as well, ×3. Lillian is interested. Fantastic. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so we have like 21 people on this call and we are seeing just few responses. Are you sure we are ready to learn today? All right, Matilda, well done. Awesome. All right, so thank you for your responses. Thank you for your response. So we are going to go ahead and get started and look at some of the things that we have today. All right, so I will not just dive into a case study. I want to make sure that we all understand exactly what we are here to do today. All right. Okay, so let's look at a brief definition of what HR analyst is. But before we go ahead, I know I have a beautiful quote right here talking about exactly what HR is and the place it has in the future of human resources. All right. So the future of HR basically lies in data. The future of HR basically lies in data. And okay, and we all know that data is the new oil. Everybody in diverse industries trying to get their hands on data to help them understand how to make decisions. All right, the same applies to HR analytics. All right, so when it comes to data, companies are now seeing the need to use the data of their employees, which is their most valuable asset. I mean, if people are not in the company, how do we make sure that we achieve our monthly targets, our goals and all that, right? So every company needs humans. They need to manage humans. They need to be able to, use the data they can collect on these people to actually drive their business goals. All right. So we go again. The future of HR lies in data-driven decision making. So HR analytics enables organizations to not only understand their workforce, but also to predict trends and proactively address challenges, making it a cornerstone of the modern business strategy. All right, this quote was given by Josh Bassin, a global industrial analyst and founder of Bassin by Deloitte. All right, so what this quote is basically telling you is that no matter what we do, we definitely need to start applying data-driven decision makings in the areas of HR analytics to be able to help us manage our workforce better. All right. So imagine knowing everything that you need to know about your workforce and being able to cater for your workforce the right way. All right. This is where the knowledge of HR analytics comes to play. All right. So if you understand how to use your workforce data to make data-driven decisions, you'll be able to manage your workforce much more better. All right. You'll be able to manage your staff, reduce the rate at which your workforce goes on, let's say, leaves the company, in fact. All right. You find out the reasons why they are leaving the company and go to the root of that issue and snip it from its roots. All right. So using data to understand what is going on in your company, especially with your staffs or employees, is something that is very golden in the areas of HR. So some of us here today might already have some knowledge about HR, working in the field of HR analytics, or maybe in your previous role within a company, you dabbled a little bit with the areas of HR. All right. So today we are going to also understand who that HR analyst is. Okay. So an HR analyst is a professional that basically uses data to evaluate and improve HR processes, all right, such as recruitment, employee performance, and retention. All right. They analyze workforce or people data to help organizations make data-driven decisions that align with business goals for its workforce, which helps improve HR policies and strategies. Okay, so this is exactly what a HR professional does. A HR professional helps a business to evaluate its people-related data in areas such as recruitment, employee performance, and in fact, in terms of retaining their employees to get a longer time of service. All right. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I believe we all understand exactly what we are doing here today, because I want each and every one of us to go hands-on in terms of understanding exactly what we'll be doing today, which is to help an organization find out why their employees are leaving. Okay, find out why their employees are leaving. Okay, so let's get into that. All right, so let's get started. All right, how many of you are ready to go? How many of you are good to go? If you are good to go, just type yeah in the chat. Okay, if you are good to go, just type yeah. All right, just type yeah in the chat and I'll know you are good to go. All right, iPhone is ready. Okay, I can see Faggy Posh. Awesome. All right. Okay, so Faggy Posh is typing something else. I'm not sure that's the yeah we talked about. He typed yeah or something like that. All right. So no problem, John, Lillian. Awesome, awesome. So let's get started. Let's look at our case study. So today we want to look at a case study. But before we go ahead, we have our download here. Don't worry, I'm going to share this link with us. But before I click on this link, okay, I want us to look at what we are going to be doing today in terms of helping this organization to understand its data and using that data to help them find out exactly why their employees are leaving. All right. So today we are going to see those areas that impact the organizations the most and see how we can make decisions from that to help this organization retain more employees. All right. So I believe this is an area of concern for this organization. Okay. So we're going to be working with Intech Solutions today. So Intech Solution is a fast-growing IT company and it has a significant rise in employee turnover. All right. So in the past 3 years, they've been experiencing employee turnover. Okay, so the leadership team is concerned about the impact of this attrition on project timelines, client satisfaction, and team morale. All right, so most importantly, we need to understand that when employees leave organization, especially in a high rate, there are a lot of positions that are left unfilled, a lot of departments that have more burden because individuals are not around to help them finish up the tasks that they've been assigned, right? So in this situation, the management will also see the frustration in them achieving their final goal as a company, all right? If people are not available and we have a goal to reach as an organization, it becomes a problem when we are short-handed, all right? So now this leader is concerned about its workforce and trying to find out how do we understand why our employees are leaving? And also, how do we make sure that these employees continue to stay with us? All right, so let's look at what we have as our task. So as a new HR analyst in this organization, your first assignment is to analyze employee data to uncover the reasons behind the increasing turnover, all right? Using your analytical skills to identify trends and provide actionable insights that will help us design effective retention strategies. All right. So as HR analysts, we're going to be using our analytical skills to define what the root cause of the problem is, and then we can use this information to help this organization generate proper strategic decision that would help them avoid having such a high attrition rate in the future. All right, so I'm using the word attrition because attrition means the rate at which employees leave the organization. All right, so we have some key questions that we are going to be attending to tonight. And the first one we'll talk about the department, right? So it says which department or roles have the highest turnover rate. Another question here mentions that are there specific tenure milestones when employees are more likely to leave. All right, so we want to find out when employees are more likely to leave by looking at the tenure or the timeline that they stay within an organization. Now, we also have what are the primary reasons for employee exits and how do these differ between voluntary and involuntary termination. All right, so how do attrition rates vary by demographic factors such as age, job level. All right, so we're going to look more into this. Don't worry, we'll come back to these questions and tackle them one after the other to help us find out exactly what is going on or which department is most affected by attrition and see how we as HR analysts can help them, revive their workforce. All right, so Now, just a quick look into what we can do with, this information that we have right now. So basically, what we are going to do is take our data from this raw form, all right? We'll take it from what it is, that is this, and turn it to that, okay? We'll take it from this and turn it to that. But before we do that, I would like to ask a question, all right? Which is, if I were to present this to you and that to you, which one will you take, this or that? Okay, if I were to present this and that, which one will you prefer? All right, that should be on your table to help you actually understand what is going on. All right, which one would you prefer, this or that? This or that? Okay, so I'm seeing that, the one with the graph. Awesome, the one with the graph. All right, so I believe everyone would prefer to see their data represented properly like this, looking at the number of employees they have, the departments that are having the highest level of leaves, of employees leaving, and all that. It's easier for you to make up a decision from that than making up a decision from this, okay? Than making up a decision from this, okay? So we are going to be taking this right now and turning it into that, all right? I hope we are all ready. Today we are going to be using Power BI, all right? We are going to be using Power BI to work on this, all right? I hope we are all ready. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to the data set that we are going to work on today. I will share that link with each and every one of us. For those of us that are interested, show you how to download the data, and then we can get started to transform this raw data into what you can see right here. Okay, so let's go on. I'm just going to quickly go back. All right. Okay, so this is our data set. So we have Intech Solutions employee attrition data ready for us to analyze. So if you look at this data set here, they've provided some key things for us to use to actually understand what is going on in the organization. They've given us the employee's ID, okay, which is their unique identifier. Every employee has their own staff. Let me use staff ID, all right? Every employee should have their own staff ID. This is a way for us to identify who is who, all right? So right now we don't have their names for privacy purposes, so we're just going to be making use of their IDs, okay? So again, we also have the start date, that's when they were employed into these job positions, and also we have the end date, when they ended their contracts. You can see here that some of the positions or some of the columns here are empty, all right? If I can ask anyone in the house right now, what is the reason why some of these columns are empty? Would you be able to give me the right answer? If you know what the answer is, all right, just basically use the raise hand icon and let's see. If you know what the right answer is, use the raise hand icon. I will mute you and go ahead and let me know what the answer is. Why are some of these columns empty? If you don't know what the answer is, just type no in the chat and we can continue and get more enlightenment why some of these columns are just empty. All right, so I can see Wasil says they are still in service. They are still in service. Joe says the period they were working. All right, the period they were working is not a clear answer. All right, but I can definitely go with what Wasu is saying. All right, they are still in service. The reason why there's no information right there is because these individuals are still active. All right, so for as many as you can find a date under the termination date, it means that they have left the organization already. So there's no way for us to, bring them back. They've left the organization. They don't work with this Intech solution anymore. All right. So let's find out exactly why these individuals left the organization and some of the departments that are most affected in this issue or this hassle of, termination. All right. So let's go on. Okay, so like I mentioned, we are going to be downloading our data set. So what I want you guys to do now is to go to where you have file, okay? Go to where you have file, all right, on your Google Sheets, all right? So before I do that again, I mentioned I was going to share the link. So I want to make sure I do that. Just give me a minute so I can copy that and paste in the chat box. Okay. All right, so you find the link to this spreadsheet in the chat right now. So go ahead and click on it, and you should be able to access this particular data set. All right, so please go ahead and click on it, and you should be able to access this data set. Awesome. So I can see some of us have already started coming into this sheet already. Fantastic. All right, so let's move on. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and download this data set into my PC, all right? So I want this particular data set to be saved into my PC right now. So I want to make sure I do that right now. The first thing I'll do is head over to where I have file, okay? You can see the tab called file. Just go ahead and click on it. And once you click on it, you should find, what's it called? You should find the download option, all right? The download option. Go ahead and click on the arrow pointing towards your right, okay? And you find options to download your Google Sheets as Microsoft Excel, all right? Or any other form. Please go ahead and use the Microsoft Excel option, okay? That's exactly what I'm going to click on right now. Okay, so from file, you go to download, from download, Microsoft Excel. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click on it and we are good to go. All right, so my file has uploaded already and I believe I'll be able to find that in my file explorer within my download session. All right, so let me quickly check that. Okay, go to my downloads. Okay, this is my file explorer. If you don't remember what your file explorer is that folder, that brown folder that you have on your PC. Okay, so just go ahead, click on it. Once it opens up, go to the place called download and you would find your data set right there. Okay, so once you've done that, just give me a one in the chat or give me a thumbs up in the chat and then we can go ahead to Power BI. All right, so while we are giving that reaction, I want to make sure that we all know what Power BI is. Do we know what Power BI is? If you don't know what Power BI is, just go ahead, don't be shy and type no in the chat, okay? I don't know what Power BI is, all right? I don't know what Power BI is. All right. No, please. No, please. I don't know what Power BI is. All right. So fantastic. So Power BI is just, let's say, an upgraded version of what Excel is. All right. Let me just put it in that simple format. All right. But what Power BI actually is a business intelligence tool that helps us to simplify our data in a smoother and easier way. All right. A lot of us are used to Excel already. We know how to use Excel, impute data and do some basic calculations at least. All right. With Power BI, you can do more work 10 times faster. All right. Let me put it that way. You can do more work 10 times faster. Let's say we have Excel as our initial tool, and then someone decided to create a special tool that can do everything Excel can do, but in a smoother, more sophisticated way. That is what Power BI is. All right. So we are going to be using Power BI today, although we are still going to be getting all the recordings from this session, including the materials and even the slides. All right. So if you don't have Power BI yet, I would indulge you to fill out the form sent in by Lydia from Analytics in the chat. All right. Go ahead, click on that form, fill it out completely, and you should be able to get this in your email as soon as this material or recording is ready. All right, so make sure to do that. All right, let's go on and look at our Power BI software and start analyzing our data. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click on my Power BI software. All right, so this is exactly what Power BI looks like. Okay, you can easily download it from your Microsoft Store on your PC, or if you still need more help, just go to our YouTube page and type how to download Power BI. All right, and you should be able to find a detailed instruction of how you can do that with ease. All right, so just go to the YouTube page, Analytics. All right, you don't have to search too much. Just type Analytics on YouTube, go to our page and search for how to download Power BI. All right, okay, so without wasting too much of our time, we are going to head in and find out exactly what we are dealing with today. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just go ahead and open a blank report page to help me get access to my Power BI interface, so I can do all the analysis that I need to do without having issues. All right, so just give me a minute. All right, so let's go on now. I believe everything is faster, a bit more faster now. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and import our data set. Okay, so remember the data set we just downloaded from our Google Sheets. That's exactly what we want to import right here. So what I'm going to do here is I'll go ahead to where I have get data. All right, in data analytics processes, we have something called ETL, all right, where we extract, we transform, and then we load our data. That's exactly what I'm going to do here. So I'll go to get data and import that data set into Power BI. So I'll just click on Excel workbook. Okay, once I click on Excel workbook, what it does is it opens up my file explorer for me to be able to access whatever Excel workbook I want to use. All right, so right here it goes directly to my download page, which is fantastic. I can also go to other pages as well if I choose to, other sessions as well if I choose to locate whatever Excel file I want to use to analyze in Power BI. So I'll go ahead and click on Intake Employee Attrition Data. Once I click on it, I'll click on Open. Okay, I'll click on Open. Now, once this opens up, what I want to do is I want to make sure that my data set is clean and easy for me to actually interpret to my stakeholders. So to do this, I'll have to clean my data. Just think of it like while you are trying to prepare a meal, all right? You want to serve your managers or your directors or your CEOs, and you want to make sure that whatever you're dishing out to them is well prepared. So what do? You first of all go to the market, which we've done to gather our data, right? Now it's time for us to make sure that that data is well prepared, all right? And before we start putting things in the pot, what do? We wash up some of our shaki, bomo, blend some pepper, chop up some onions, right? That is exactly what we want to do in Power Query, all right? We are going to be dicing our data set and making it conducive for us to analyze our data. So let's go on. So I'm going to select this checkbox here to preview my data. In some situations whereby you are not sure if you actually named your file correctly and you want to make sure that you are importing the right file, you can go ahead and do this, preview your data, and once you are done previewing it and you are sure you have the right data, go ahead and click transform. Okay, if you can't click transform because you have the wrong data, just cancel that and repeat the step again that we just took, but this time make sure to get the right data. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click transform data. Okay, and then once I click transform data, okay, we are back here in Power BI. Power Query. All right. So Power Query is just a tool in Power BI that helps us to transform our data. All right. We want to make sure that there are no inconsistencies in our data sets. And we also want to make sure that we have broken down our data in such a way that it's easy for us to analyze. All right. So the first thing I like to do when I get a new data is to make sure that all my data columns or all the columns I have here are in the correct data type, all right? So our data type are basically, when we have numbers, we have dates, we have text, or we have decimal places, all right? So these are what our data types are, the shape and form of your data or whatever characteristics your data has, all right? So we can see some examples here. We have whole number 1, 2, 3. We have the date, which is represented as calendar, and for our termination date, we have date and time. All right, this is something that we want to fix. So let's get on with this. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is I'm going to start changing some of our data types. For this ID column is a unique identifier. I can't go ahead and use this to find out the number of individuals in the company. This 2 here represents one person. Imagine if I go into my analysis and decide to add up this entire column. So if I add up 1 and 2, I get 3. And in reality, they are just 2 people, all right? So to prevent that from happening, I will convert this column into text. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Now let's move on. The next thing I want to do here, okay, is asking for permission to go ahead and change that. So I'll say replace current, all right, which it has done successfully. All right, the next thing I want to do here now is to start preparing my data for proper analysis. So this column right here has date and time, and I want to make sure that I only have what's it called? I only have dates here, all right? I don't need the time, I just want dates. So let me break that down very quickly. I'll go to my transform dates column, select the column entirely, okay? Now, I'll head over to where I have transform. My transform tab helps me to transform my data however I want. You can see a lot of features here, which we will not get into today, but we are going to just use a little bit of it to help us understand how we can split this column. All right, so you can see here we have split column, very direct, very easy to use, very demure. Let me just put it like that. All right, so this particular area, we are just going to go ahead and click on it. And once we get there, we'll click on by delimiter, all right, by delimiter. This is us just telling Power Query what we prefer to split our column by, okay? So if we're looking at this column, this information here, we'll see that we have date and time. So we want to split it very quickly. So I'll go to by delimiter, click on that, okay? And the next thing we want to select is what particular delimiter do we want to split it by? So let's see some of the options we have here. We have column, we have comma, equal sign, semicolon, space, and all that. So one thing I've noted from this column here is that between the date and the time, there is an existing space. Okay, that is what I want to leverage. So I'll go ahead and select the space and then click OK. All right. So now that I have separated the columns, you can see that one of my all right, one of the information I have here is just date and the other is time. So right here, I'm going to drop the column that has the time because like I said, we're not making use of it. So I click on that, right click and remove. Okay, now we don't have that column anymore. The next thing I want to do here is to also look at other areas that I can quickly break down and generate some insights. So we have the age column here, which I believe we can categorize into different ranges, all right? We want to know different age groups within the company, and we also want to understand the salary ranges. So we'll categorize them into smaller groups so we can see the age groups that are most likely to leave the organization and those that are less likely to leave the organization. This should be able to help us to understand how different age groups behave. All right, we all know that different generations have different characteristics. We have the Gen Z's characteristics, we have the millennial characteristics, we have the boomers, and so on and so forth. All right, so that is exactly what we want to do right here. Okay, so we want to make sure that we break it down. We understand if those that are low salary earners or those that are within the ages of 22 to 25 are more likely to leave the organization. All right, so I'll start my breakdown from the age column. To do that, I have to look at my maximum and minimum age. My maximum and minimum age. Okay, so under my maximum and minimum age, what I want to do here is look at the first age I have here, which is 22, and then I'll also look at the last age, which is my maximum age, which is 59. All right, so what I can get from this is that the youngest person in this organization or the youngest people in this organization are 22, while the oldest is 59. So once I note this, I can decide that, okay, I want to break down everyone in this organization into different age groups, which is those in their 20s, those in their 30s, those in their 40s, and finally, those in their 50s. So let's quickly do that. Okay, so I'll go ahead to where I have my my add column. So I can create a new column that categorizes these people in different groups. I'll go to my conditional column. Okay, under conditional column, I can create a new column very quickly. So I'll go to age. All right, let me just call this age range. Okay, I have to name that column differently. All right, age range. Now start giving this diverse conditions. All right, so I'm sure some of us are used to if statements in our Excel, but this is a different way to apply it in Power Query. All right, very easy and straightforward. So what I have to do here is select the column I need to use, which is the age column. All right, I want to repeat that. Like I said, I have those in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. That means I have 4 categories to create. So I have to add more clause here and another one. All right, 1, 2, 3, and finally we have the 4th one. So I'll go ahead, else if the age column, still the age column again. Okay, and for my operator, I start to apply if it's less than or equal to. Okay, we're going to see the reason why we are using less than or equal to right about now. So the first condition here that we have will say if the age number is less than or equal to 20, let's say 29. All right, 29 is the highest age for those in their 20s, right? If the age is less than or equal to 29, then we want the output to be I'll just put in bracket there, 22 to 29. All right, 22 to 29. Now, the next thing we want to look at is those in their 30s, right? So since the first criteria has sorted out everyone in their 20s, so if you are less than 29 or you are 29 years old, the first condition captures your age category. Now we'll move to those in their 30s and we'll do the same thing, okay? And those in their 40s as well, we'll say 49. All right, and then we'll put these individuals in their own age bracket, okay? So we have 30 to 39, okay? And then we have 40, okay, to 49. All right? These age groups or conditions captures only those in their 30s, those in their 20s, 30s, and 40. All right, so now we've told Power Query all that we need from it, but there's still one condition left, which is those in their 50s. We want to also make sure that it captures those in their 50s. But since we've had all the conditions and there's nothing else left, we're going to tell it else. If there's anything else left, which would definitely be those in their 50s, then we just want you to bring out 50 to 59. All right, 50 to 59. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click OK. All right, and instantly I have a new column that classifies all the ages. So let's look at this age group. 38, we have 30 to 39, 40, we have 40 to 49, 50, we have 50 to 59. All right, because of time, I would have loved to give us more breakdown to see how accurate that was captured, but we are going to practice it on our own and explore even further with the time we have. All right, so now let's look at how we can also break down the salary column. All right, the salary column. So I'll go ahead and click on salary. Okay, the salary column. And the same thing, I will also find out the maximum and minimum value. So I have 40,000 and I also have 119,751. All right, so for this I'll just use a simple category. All right, the first thing I want to do here is look at conditional column, okay, and I'll break this down into 3 categories. So I'll just use salary range, okay, salary range, okay, and here I'll go ahead and look out for the column I want to use, which is salary. All right, so I said I want to have 3 categories. So this means 2 stated condition and 1 else condition. All right, so for my operator, I'll go with else if and okay, less than or equal to, less than or equal to. Now for the first information, I want to look at those that have salary between the ranges of 40,000 per annum to 70,000. So I'm just going to put it here. If it's less than or equal to 70,000, okay, the output should be low. All right, but to make sure that my stakeholders know the category that low belongs to, I'm going to put it in brackets 40K to 70K. Okay, 40K to 70K, because there are a lot of numbers we're just going to summarize. Now for the next one, I'm just going to go ahead and add 30, which will make it 100K. All right, so if it is 70K or 70K up to 100K, we should have this allocated to the medium salary. So I'll go ahead and type in mid, okay, and in brackets I'll put in 70K, right, to 100K. All right, so the last condition would be if it is If it doesn't meet any of these criteria, that means it is from 100K and above. All right, so I'll just put in here 100K and above. Okay, let me just put that and above. All right, bracket. I'll categorize this as high salary. All right, so anybody earning higher than 100K is definitely a high salary earner. Okay, so now that we have our salary column sorted, okay, let me just change this very quickly to low income. All right, now that we have this sorted, we can definitely go ahead, finish up our cleaning, and then start visualizing our data. So I'll go ahead here and click OK, and we should have that column coming. All right, so we have this categorized higher than 100K. So we can see 117K is already identified. Everything is identified successfully without us having to stress too much. Just by giving the right command, we have the right answer. So I'll convert this to text as well, and we can move on from there. So the next thing I want to do, like mentioned, how long do people usually serve with this company before they end their contract? So to get that figure, we have to subtract these date columns from each other. Don't worry, it's not rocket science. We just have to select both columns and use a command to subtract them. So I'll start by selecting my termination date, click down on my control button, and also select my start date. Now I'll head over to where I have my date. Okay, that's under my add column, go to date, and I have a function here that says subtract days. So I subtract that, okay, and I have all the information I need. Remember, I said subtract days. So this 2,699 is in days. But here's the good thing that I want to do. I want to find out the year. So I'll transform that into year just with the click of some buttons. So the first thing I want to do here is to transform this data type from whole number to duration. All right, this should allow me to be able to transform it to time. So I'll go to duration, click on that. Now, under duration, I'll go to, I can see my duration has been highlighted now. So I'll click on it and I'll say, I want the total years under this particular duration. And that's exactly what's going to do for me. And we have the total years. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to do here is to change this to whole number. So I have a rounded down year. All right. I don't want the 7.3 and all that. So I can see how long these people served before they left. So some have served 7 years, 13, and 5 years. And we can go through it to see the other figures. All right. So this is just telling us how long these individuals have stayed in the organization. So I'm just going to say tenure served. All right, that's the name of this column. All right, so for those that have left, we have their information here. For those that haven't left, we have all null values. All right, so they are still safe, they are still with us, but let's dig into those that have left. Okay, so I believe we have all that we need to start transforming our data. So let's quickly dive into our home tab here, and we click on close and apply and get into Power BI very quickly. All right, we have so short time on the clock. I'll need to get into all the nitty gritty. All right, so I'm just going to give it a little moment for my data set to properly load into my Power BI interface. All right, once it does that, I can now start analyzing my data. All right. Okay, so very quickly, I want to know if we've been following so far. If you have, just type in yes, yes, yes in the chat. All right, if you've been following so far and you're understanding one or two things, just type in yes. If you're not understanding, just type in you know, type in I don't know what's going on, you know. So all right, so I can see a lot of yes, yes, yes. I'm sure you guys are very excited and I'm happy to see it as well. All right, I don't know what's going on. So iPhone says it doesn't know what's going on. Don't worry. Make sure to fill out that form in the chat and you should be able to get all the recording and get attended to by one of the professionals. You can speak to them to see how you can also get in more value from this. Okay. All right. All right, so we are going to give this a little bit of time to go ahead and load, and then we can continue from here. All right, fantastic. So the loading is now successful. All right, so now before we go ahead and start analyzing this, analyzing that, we're going to take some simple steps. Those simple steps will be finding out the number of employees that are still active and also finding out the rate at which employees leave the organization. All right. So, so let's quickly look into that and work on it. All right. So to do that, I want to make sure I save my calculations in a different table. So I'll quickly go ahead to where I have enter data. Okay. Enter data. I'll click on the enter data button. Okay. Once I get that sorted, I should be able to name or create a new table. So first thing, I should be able to name my new table. So I'll call this calculated. All right, calculated. All right, calculated is fine. So I'll just go ahead and load this so I can store my calculations. Now, some of the key things that I know my stakeholders want to see here today is how many employees we have in the organization that are active, how many have left us, all right? What is the average number of years that they will actually stay, that they've actually stayed with us, or we are expecting our employees to stay with us on average, and then we want to look at the average age of these employees, just like we have here in this chart that we built, all right, that we are about to build rather, okay, just like we have here. Okay, so this is exactly what we want to work with. So let's go back. All right. So like I said, we're going to be using our new table to store some of our calculations. So I want us to, carry out some simple calculations, a little bit intermediate and a little bit on the big and more on the beginner side. All right. So I'll start by calculating the total number of employees that we have in this organization. All right. Total number of employees. So just by clicking on the calculate table, I can have access to my table tools. So click on that, have access to your table tools, go ahead and click on new measure, all right? New measure. Okay, now I'll just go in and do my quick calculation. So right here, I'll just go ahead and calculate number of employees, okay? Number of employees. Okay, number of employees. So let me just zoom out a little so we can see more clearly for those of us that are capturing everything that we're working on. All right, number of employees. So for this, I'll use my distinct count because I want to make sure that I count all employees just once. If an employee is promoted to a different position, they still have the same ID. So that is still one person moving from one position to the other. All right. I want to make sure that we maintain the actual number of individuals in this organization. All right. So I'll use the distinct count so that I can count every employee once. Now, the next thing I want to use here would be my employee ID column. All right, which helps me to get a unique figure for each of these employees. Employees can have the same name and surname for all we know, but they cannot have the same ID. So let's use that and make sure we get the right information. So I'll go ahead and click enter. All right, and we should have our first calculation. Before I visualize, I'll carry out all the calculations that we need, and then we go in and start looking at other things. All right. So the next thing I want to do now is to calculate the number of employees that have left the organization. All right. So to do that, I'll click on new measure. Okay. All right. Now call this employee attrition. Okay. Employee attrition. For this, I'm going to use a little bit of an intermediate calculation. So I'm going to use the calculate function. The reason why I'm using this function is because it helps me to create a specific filter for my calculation. So for this calculation, the first thing I want is to know the number of employees in this organization, all right, which I've already calculated. So I'll just use my square bracket and it gives me the option for my calculated measure. Now, the next thing I want to do is to now filter this. Okay, I have the total number of employees in the organization, but specifically, I want you to give me only the number of those that have left. So how do I get this without going back and forth, front and back and all that? All I have to do is just tell this DAX or Power BI calculation that I want you to calculate the total number of employees, but I want you to make sure that you calculate all the individuals within the termination date column that have a date, okay? So I want you to make sure that you are calculating those that have dates. Now, the reason why we are going through all this process is because Power BI would have the tendency of actually counting null values. Remember, those cells are not empty. There's no zero. There's no space. If you have null value, it can also count it. So we need to be specific with what we want. So I'll go ahead and type in the next thing. So I'll just say not, use the not function. All right. And then open up my bracket. The next thing I want to bring in would be my termination, okay, termination date column. So I'm typing the word termination so I can get to my dates on time. Now for this filter now, I'm saying go to the termination date column and look for all the blank cells, all right? Look for all the blank cells, all right? That's what the filter is saying. Let me highlight where that says it. Go to this termination date column and look for all the blank cells, null values, all right? But once you execute it, I believe we know how BODMAS works, so brackets before any other thing. So once it executes and counts all the individuals or all the columns with the blank cell, it now goes ahead and attends to this function here that says not. Okay, so basically what not is telling you is don't give me the figures that are blank. All right, what is in this bracket? Don't give me the figures that are blank, but give me the total number of employees that are not blank. All right, so that's what it's going to bring back for us. I'll click enter. Now we'll go ahead and look at what's it called, the attrition rate. Okay, the attrition rate for these individuals, attrition rate. So let me quickly do that. New measure. Okay, new measure. Okay, this new measure, I'm calling it attrition rate. So this is the best way for us to know, the rate at which employees have left the organization. So we want to know if it's up to 16%, 20%, and so on, which is a very high rate, in fact. All right, so attrition rate would be us just doing a simple division. So we are going to divide the number of employees. Okay, let me use the square bracket to bring in the measure, right? Number of employees divided by attrition rate. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, number of attrition. Okay, I'll just go ahead and bring these two together, click enter. All right, and very soon we'll start visualizing. So we'll visualize everything that we have in our chart just to get the best results possible. All right, So now, what do we have here? Attrition rate. So I'll go ahead, convert this into percentage. Okay, and I want to reduce this to 1 decimal place. Please make sure to fill out the form so that you can also get a copy of this. All right, for those of you that want to learn more, definitely will also be able to attend to you. Okay, so like I said, attrition rate and attrition should give us number of employees divided by attrition should give us the attrition rate. So time for the moment of truth for us to see exactly what is happening in this organization. I will start by using my card visual and start, bringing everything together. Okay. So I'll just place this here. And like I said, the first thing I want to see here is the number of employees. So I'll just check this box for number of employees. And I should have the total figure here of all the employees in this organization. All right. The next thing I want to look out for would be my attrition rate. So I'll just copy this visual, or let me just format this before I copy it so I don't have to format every visual. All right. So I'll just go ahead. I want to just reduce the size of this to 40, and that is it. Okay. So right here, I'll go on Control C, Control V to copy and paste. Okay, and I should have my next information here, which should be my attrition, okay, attrition rate. Okay. Oh, yeah, I think we have an issue here. Okay, so we're just going to fix this very quickly. All right, and that is fixed. All right, so while this is being sorted, I'll just go ahead and copy this information to complete the rest of our chart. So we still have average year of service, all right, that's the tenure served. And then we also want to look at the number of the average age of employees in the organization in total, and then we'll also look at, let's bring in other information here very quickly, which is the actual number of people that left the organization. This is a very important information as well. So I'll bring that in, employee attrition. Okay, the next thing, like I said, tenure. They requested for the tenure. They want to know how long these individuals do serve before they leave. So we'll look at it on average. Okay, look at it on average. I'll go ahead, go into my Intech solution, go ahead to where I have tenure served. Okay, tenure served. Just drag that in here, turn it from sum to average. Okay, and I have my figure. Now, the last thing I want to look at here before I start plotting my charts will be the average age of the employees for this. All right, average age. So let me go into the age column. Don't worry, we're still going to make use of the age range column. But for the age column, we just want to make sure that we find out the kind of workforce we have. All right, so it will just determine for us basically if we have older people or not. All right, if we have older people or not. So if we have older people, we definitely know that the reason for attrition would be retirement. All right, but in this situation, the average age is 40, 41, which is not as old as, what we would expect, but old enough still. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and work on this as well, and we are good to go. Now, the next thing I want to do is to start plotting our charts. As you can see from the example we have here, and even from the questions, we talked about finding out the department or roles with the highest turnover rate. And this goes through to talk about also looking at the reasons for leaving. Want to find out how many people use a particular reason. Is that our issue within the organization? We also want to find out some demographic factors such as the age, job levels, and also salary. So let's quickly look at that. All right, so I'll just select a chart. Power BI is just a drag and drop feature, and it's going to help us to start telling magnificent stories. So I'll just go ahead and bring this in. And for the first thing, like I mentioned, we are using department. All right, so for this department, basically select the department name, and then we select the attrition rate. All right, and voila, we have a chart. Okay, we have a chart showing us that HR has the highest attrition rate in this department. Okay, HR has the highest attrition rate in this department. The next thing we want to look at now, I would say, would be our salary. All right, so we have a salary benchmark or a salary breakdown that we've created already. Okay, so I'll just take this here and place it. All right, and for this I just want to change some of the features here, take out departments, and like I said, we'll see the attrition rate by salary ranges. So we want to know if those with low salary are more likely to leave than those with high salary. So let me quickly fix this so that we can see the information much better. All right, so before I work on that, just make sure all of this is here. Increase my label size. All right. So right here from our chart, we can already see that those with high salary are much more likely to leave the organization than even those with low salary. Okay. Although we have, a good number of individuals in this area as well with, 13% attrition, 18%, 17%. All right. Those with high salary are still more likely to leave than those with low salary. Let's look at one more factor, which is our, let me bring this here, which is our age range, all right? Like I said, one of the key factors that might impact employees leaving an organization would be them retiring. Sometimes it could be them starting a new family or something like that, right? So we want to find out exactly what age group is more likely to leave. So I'm copying this and changing that to age range so we can see all the age ranges. So right here, those that are more likely to leave are those in their 20s, all right? Like I said, it might be people that are just starting a family or looking to, have higher income to settle down. All right, so we can see here that those in their 20s are more likely to leave the organization, those in their 30s as well, and so on. In fact, those in their 50s or closer to retirement are not as likely to leave as every other age group, although we cannot consider 13% as a mild attrition rate. This is still very high. All right, this is still very high according to the benchmark of the industry. Finally, another thing we want to look out for here would be our what's it called, reason for attrition. All right, reason for attrition. So for this, I'll just take out all this information. Okay, and I want to use a matrix chart. Okay, for this matrix chart, first of all, I want to highlight all the reasons why employees have left. So in these organizations, they have maybe a survey that they carry out or a succession meeting that they carry out with these individuals to find out exactly why. And for those that were dismissed, okay, it's also indicated why they were taken out of the organization. So let's find out how many employees were taken out because of these reasons. Okay, so under value, I want all the attrition figures to show. All right, so from this area here, we can barely see it, but this is what I'm going to do for us here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use a conditional format to highlight this area. Let me just make this a little bit different. Okay, so it's more clear. Now I'm going to bring in my conditional format here to highlight the areas with the most likelihood of leaving. All right, So if I use this background color, it highlights for me exactly where we need to note. So the darker the area, the more you know that, okay, these employees have, you know, left more, all right, for this particular reason. So contract ended, okay, resigned for personal reasons, okay. So we might want to look into mental health of individuals within the organization. More people are resigning for personal reasons voluntarily, all right, not because of a new job or anything. Now, contract ended as well is also something else. And I believe the next lighter shade should be 13, which is better career opportunities and relocation. All right. So for diverse organizations, these reasons might differ. And from what we can see here, the department that is being affected the most here is the HR department, with a whooping 19%, almost 20% attrition rate, and then engineering department. All right. So we can see that we can find out using data, we can find out the exact area where our company is most disturbed when we are losing employees. We can also find out those key characteristics like their age groups or the salary factors that might impact these decisions. And we can use data to find out the likely reasons why these employees are leaving. Now, for those that are leaving for personal reasons, we can carry out surveys with those within the organization about their work-life balance, things like that, to find out how we can better help them with work satisfaction, right? And the final thing we want to do here is look at this by gender, all right? By gender. We have little time left, so we might just have to brush this off and you know, see how we can finish up at a later time. Although we are done with our dashboard already, but we can sit down with this, generate some insights, think about what the data does, and give our feedback. So right here, I'm just going to bring in gender and just make this slicer look much more interactive. All right, so I'll change this to, let's use drop down here. All right, drop down. Okay, so to see our interactive dashboard, all I have to do is select our female to see how the female employees are performing. So you can see all the figures are changing already. The attrition rate is 14% for females. Still, HR has the highest. The reason, most likely reason for females to leave would be resigning for personal reasons. So this could be because they're starting a new family or so. And here you can see the most likely age groups that are going to leave the organization will be those in their 30s and those in their 20s. So this is something else to note as well. So we might want to start carrying out surveys for those within these age groups within the organization to see their interests and what they are also planning on doing, and to help us avoid having such a high attrition rate. Better conditions, better benefits can also help them. For those that are trying to expand their family, healthcare is also a key factor. Now, for men, men have a higher attrition rate in this organization. And we can see right here that those in their 40s are most likely men in sales department. You can see how the data changes as we filter through. Now, you can also interact using your charts to also get the right feedback for your analysis. All right. So I believe, yeah, the last thing we have to do here is just to go ahead and name our dashboard. And right here, I'm just going to use a text box, type in employee, okay, attrition dashboard. Okay, employee attrition dashboard. I want to make sure that this is bold enough. So I'll just highlight that, increase my size here, okay, and just place it where it needs to be. All right, so the same way we have this here, we can also add in the name of this company. So let me put this in the middle, all right, and adjust. Finally, take out my background. And the last thing I want to do is just to make sure that we can see a little contrast here. on our dashboard, but with the time we have, we can just move on from this. All right. So this is what a dashboard looks like for your employee attrition. And what we can get out of this is not just something that we can talk about on this call, can get so much more from this. All right. So for as many of you are interested in knowing more, please make sure to fill out that form and register your information so you can get these materials and practice with. All right. And those of us that are interested in other things, we can also do same. All right. So right now we are going to move on with the rest of our reason for being here today. All right. So we've looked at our analysis. We've been able to transform our data from this, which is our raw state, to that. Okay. From this to that. And with that, the time we have, we've been able to create a full dashboard that can actually help us to pick out the areas that are most disturbed in the organization, the reasons why these employees are leaving, and also from this data set, we can use it to understand our employee behaviors and see how we can attend to these individuals, either by improving benefit packages, work condition, work-life balance, whatever it may be, we can snip it on from the roots and get these employees a better condition. All right. So if you've understood this so far, all right, and you've enjoyed this process and you would love to do something like this, just go ahead and type I love this in the chat. I love this. Okay, go ahead and type I love this in the chat. Okay, let me see those that are still here with us. I love this. I love this. Awesome. So I can see Lillian is already typing I love this. Boluwatife. Fantastic. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. All right. So now the next thing we are going to do here is to make sure that we look at, how we can actually become HR analysts. So, okay, why should I learn HR analytics? All right. Why should I learn HR analytics? So the first thing here is that transitioning into HR analytics is very easy. So there's ease of learning, okay, ease of transitioning and actually landing a job, all right? And also you have a high and rewarding salary, all right? Ease of learning, ease of transitioning and getting a job and having a high and rewarding salary, all right? So right here, there are some key points as well for you to understand exactly why HR analytics is important for organizations and helping businesses the right decision. So the rise of HR analytics has seen so much interest, okay, has seen so much interest, and it is so crucial because companies need to see the correlation between investment in workforce and real business outcome. Like I said, workforce or people tie a direct impact to the outcome of a business result. All right. So if your people are not good, are not fine, and are constantly leaving, the outcome of the business is always going to be tampered with. So we want to make sure that the workforce is well taken care of by using data to understand what is going on in terms of their performance, their reasons for leaving, the behavior they might have with their job satisfaction. These are crucial things that help organization to manage its workforce better. All right. So some of the questions that HR answer is, what part of our training budget drives business results? Okay, we look at the training of the organization, the best training for them that actually helps us to drive the business results or the goals of the company. We also answer the question of which words appear on resumes of our company's most successful employees. This question is basically more interesting for those into recruitment, all right? So what are the top applicants? What do they have on their CV? How do we help them get to where they need to get to, right? That is why we have to answer that question. Now, which factor predicts turnover, all right? So what can we see in our data that will tell us that, okay, if this person is within this area or within that area, we can say there's high likelihood of this person actually leaving the organization. If this individual needs a maternity leave, all right, because we don't have a healthcare benefit, there's high likelihood of this individual terminating their employment with us, all right? So we can use data to predict the factors that impact turnover. We can also use data to ask or answer the question of how should managers track the skills available within the organization to choose the right people for assignments, all right? So based on the skill set that are within the organization, you can help that organization to determine who stays in a particular position or who is most impactful in a particular position to avoid putting people where they are underskilled. You can use data to find out exactly how to position employees accurately. Now, what is the single best source of hire for you can also answer what is the best source of hire for recruiters and what outperforms their what is the best source of hire for technical recruiters who outperform their colleagues, all right? So we want to find out the best source of hire for recruiting employees that perform very, very well within the organization. So we have Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. Mr. B is doing excellently well in their job, right? We can use data to find out how we can hire more of Mr. B into the organization so we have more high performers instead of low performers. All right. So that is exactly some of the questions, not all of the questions, but some of the questions that HR analysts can actually help organizations answer. Okay. So for analytics, what are you going to be learning when you join our HR analytics program? So first of all, the role of a HR analyst, like I mentioned when we started this, is to help the organization to derive insights to somewhat support its human resource function. All right. They focus on optimizing HR processes, employee performance, talent management, in fact, recruitment, job satisfaction, enhancing employee well-being within the organization. All right. Now, here are some of the skill sets that you are going to be learning if you join the Analytics HR program. The first is problem solving. You're going to be learning how to actually understand the processes of problem solving. All right, things like the CryptDM framework, the 5 whys, and all that. All right, you understand exactly how to use that to break down the process of problem solving to understand how to help your organization properly. The next thing you'll be learning are some technical tools such as Excel, where you'll be learning how to optimize your data using Excel. Different organizations use different tools and want to make sure that we cater for every need that your organization may have. Now, after you learn Excel, you go on to Power BI, which is the nice and powerful tool that we just used this evening. All right. You learn how to use Power BI for business intelligence properly from basic to advanced. Now you move on to SQL for organizations or larger organizations that use databases to store their data. Then you go to your HR analytics proper, where you start learning how to leverage these technical tools that you've now learned and use them to understand employee performance, employee satisfaction, attrition processes, and all that. All right. So while you're understanding how to use this to leverage organizations' employee data, you're also learning how to monitor HR metrics, all right? HR metrics for your organization. Okay, you are working on recruitment data. What are some of those metrics that you need to use to understand the recruitment processes of your company? You learn how to do that, your performance as well. You see all the key metrics that you have to track to be able to get the best results. Now, you also look at the HR analytics and dashboarding, all right? So all these processes, you'll be building some dashboards to help you see how you can effectively help your organizations, building dashboards that they can use live, all right? Automating processes for your organization, streamlining processes of decision making by creating recruitment tracking dashboards to help them make better decisions, creating performance management dashboards, creating job satisfaction or skill based performance tracking dashboard. Whatever it may be that your organization needs, you are going to be learning how to build those key dashboards to help you make decisions and plan better and manage the workforce better as a HR professional. Now, we are also going to teach you how to build your case and create your action. All right. That is basically how to tell your story. All right. In your data analysis. Remember, once you create a dashboard, you have to present it to your stakeholders. So how do you do that effectively? You'll be learning how to do that in the classroom. Now, you're also going to learn how to use ChatGPT for analysis. Remember, we are talking about AI. AI is everywhere. We are seeing robots, we are seeing cars that can drive themselves. We can also leverage AI in terms of our analysis. So we are going to learn how to leverage AI in order to put us in the best position that we need to be in the job market. All right. So everybody is looking for a little bit of artificial intelligence in their employees as well, because the world is moving to that area as well. All right. So while you're also giving them what they need in tech, also make sure that you have the knowledge that you need. So we are going to teach you how to use ChatGPT for analytics, and all this will be done within a timeline of 4 months. All right. So let me break it down. You'll be doing your learning, your project-based learning for 3 months, and then you have an internship for 1 month. So within these 3 months, you have an intensive learning period where you're going to learn properly with instructors that are going to be there with you 247 to ensure that you understand everything that you need to digest from the classroom down to your WhatsApp groups. All right. So we are going to help you to make sure that you understand everything that we're going to teach you, get you ready in 3 months, put you through an internship where you are going to build a nice portfolio filled with interesting projects with diverse teammates and also other cross-functional teams. All right. So these classes are going to hold within the we have 2 sessions actually. All right. One in the morning, one in the evening. And all these classes hold on Saturdays. All right. For the morning class, you have your time from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. All right. For those in the UK, for those in the EU, and those in Africa. For the evening section, which is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is mostly for those in the North American region. So for those in Canada and US, you can also leverage this time to help you get into class and also listen to your instructors where you can ask direct questions and understand what is going on in the world of data. All right. So we also have this place where we have our self-paced videos, which are watch me do it videos that will help you keep active during the week, help you understand what you're about to learn on Saturday. All right. So you want to make sure that you get yourself ready, you come into class with your questions, and you also are ready to share the knowledge that you've gotten from those watch me do it videos in your class. Now our we have our information here, which is looking at all our in-demand HR job roles. All right. So we're talking about a tech skill here, and we all know that everybody's asking the question of where do we get our returns? All right. So it's interesting to learn, right? But we also want to make sure that we have the necessary opportunity to land a job. We have the necessary salary or the groundbreaking salary that can help us pay for that vacation that we've been planning all these years. All right. So now let's look at it. So the global HR analyst job opening is over 2 million plus. All right. There's a lot of HR analyst job roles that are opened on LinkedIn, on Glassdoor, on Indeed, which are waiting for us to apply to. Now, the available HR analysts to apply to these jobs are just 400K. All right, so 2 million to 400K is not a fair ratio. So we still have a lot of demand for HR. All right, so whether you're a HR professional or somebody that is just interested in HR, all right, leveraging the tech skill in this area would definitely help you to, position yourself to attain one of these 2 million role. I mean, look at the ratio, 400K analysts, and we have 2 million job role openings across the globe waiting to be filled. All right. So the HR analysts left to fill these jobs are basically 1.6 million people. So the factors driving demand for HR analysts are organizations are keen on effectively utilizing human resource data to minimize operational costs and gain real-time insight into employee behavior. They also want to adopt innovative technologies such as Internet of Things and analytics to improve employee retention and engagement. Okay, remote working trends have also triggered by the pandemic is leading to increased demand of workforce management solution. All right. So a lot of companies are now seeing the need of looking into their employees. This is the most treasured factor, even if most of them have not admitted it yet. This is the most treasured factor of any company. All right. So you see companies like Netflix, companies like Google, how they've used HR analytics to help their company get better, whether it's employee retention or finding out how to improve their employee performance. HR analytics is the go-to for these companies to help them survive through difficult areas or also help them save costs when it comes to cutting down on operation costs. Maybe you have 10 engineers where you're supposed to have just 3 engineers in a particular position and you're paying salary here and there. You find out what is most effective or efficient for your organization and utilize it. All right. So organizations are increasingly using HR analytics solution to make data-driven decisions, especially during the COVID, which was when this started becoming a very useful thing. Everybody had to start using going on remote work mode, right? And then it started dawning on them that they have to monitor these individuals more because without them, the company is not going to be at its best. Hiring is quite expensive. Not everybody is willing to stay. So whatever you have to manage and monitor it properly and take good care of it. So what is the average salary of these amazing individuals that help us manage the most treasured or valuable asset of a company? All right. So for the UK, the average salary would be 40,500 per annum. All right. That is the average salary. Okay. Average. Stressing the word average. So it can be more than 40,500. For Canada, we have $71,230. All right. 71,230 Canadian dollars. Like I said, it can be more, but right here, this is the figure that we have. Now for USA, the average salary for a HR analyst is 73,537. All right, 73,537. So if you are looking to find that deep pocket career path, I believe HR analytics is that path for you. All right, so you have to definitely look into it, find out your passion, your interest in it, and see how you can reach out to any one of us. Right here we have our form already, so make sure to fill it and don't worry, we'll reach out to you. All right, so now we still have to understand what are some of those career paths that you can apply to. So we are talking about HR analytics, but some of us do not actually realize that we have different job titles for HR analysts. All right, we have the HR data analyst, which is one of the ways that most organizations see HR analysts. They call them HR data analysts, and there are a lot of jobs out there tagged as HR data analysts. All right, you have the people operation analyst, You also have the talent acquisition analyst, which are people that are most likely helping the organizations to hire the right individuals. Benefit analysts, which are the money people of HR, making sure that they have the right benefits for their employees. People analysts, which is the same thing as HR, all right? We also have the HR business analyst, all right? These are some roles that are coming in newly and fast, okay? Total rewards analyst is also here on our list. Workforce analyst, we also have that on our list right here, all right? So we want to make sure that we are very much conversant of all these different job roles and not just stay on LinkedIn or any of these job boards looking for HR analyst, HR analyst, HR analyst. We can definitely search for other jobs that we can see here on the screen and land our job or next role in the HR analytics field. All right. So moving forward, okay, we are going to look at, we have some of our student portfolios here for those that have already gone through the program, all right? So I just want to go ahead and click on this link. This is Bayo. Bayo went through the HR analytics program and has successfully completed his portfolio, right? So you see this wonderful portfolio. We are also going to be teaching you how to build it from scratch, personalized to you and the projects that you've worked on. All right. So you can see some of the interesting projects that Bayer has worked on. Imagine presenting this to an employer. There's no way of denying that you have the right skill set. All right. This is properly sketched out, everything that you've worked on, people analytics project, things that you've done with Power BI, your SQL projects are also going to be here, and you have so much information for your stakeholders or new employer to see and leverage. All right. So I'm also going to look at the other person's information here. I believe this is Grace. Grace Adebayo also passed through the HR analytics program, and this is her portfolio, all right? So everything that you do in class, you'll be able to put it here. So she has eco media absenteeism pattern. This is a project that she worked on, or we worked on during the HR analytics program, to help us understand the absenteeism patterns of a company and also make sure that we can help the company reduce the rate at which employees are staying absent from their work. Some people even go absent and never return. So these are things that you also learn in class, building a recruitment tracker to help your workforce hire better, also looking at workforce evaluation, right, finding out the employee performance and satisfaction within the organization, all right? Looking at employee attrition, diversity and inclusion, so many projects that you'll be building in the HR analytic workspace that will help you stand out once you are applying for jobs, all right? So aside from that, we are also going to look at some of the individuals that have, successfully passed through this program and have also landed a job. All right, so we are moving into the session of testimonials now. So we've had a lot of people pass through our program, and we've been able to gather some of the individuals that have successfully landed a job. Right here, we have Victor. Victor applied for the HR analytics role. Okay, after he has completed this, he moved on to apply for a job where he landed a full-time role with a company in Chicago. Victor is in Nigeria here with us. He was able to land a full-time job in Chicago as a people operation analyst, all right, as a people operation analyst. And right after that, he still was able to land another job as a senior HR business partner with a company that a continental company in Africa, so Tangerine, Africa. We also have Sonia here that landed a job as a HR analyst in UK. Maureen also landed a job as a HR analyst in Canada, all right? So we have different people from different locations getting jobs as HR professionals. We have Olajide here as well, who got a job as a HR analyst in one of our esteemed banks in Nigeria, Stanbic IBTC. all right, after completing the HR analytics program. Okay, so here are some testimonials. Don't worry, you're also going to be able to see or watch all these testimonials once you get your material. Here are some testimonials from other students that have also been able to land jobs as HR professionals. All right, so we have an interesting one here, which is Benem. Benem just recently landed a job this August as a HR professional. She sent us a message telling us that how excited she was about landing a job, telling us, thank you, Tenalytics. I'm so happy that I took this opportunity and I'm starting my new role on the 19th. All right. So this is her being very excited about the opportunity. Remember, Tenalytics is not just going to be teaching you how to use these tech skills, but also how to land the jobs. All right. So everything in one place, you are all going to be enjoying everything to the fullest. All right. So you can also click on the link here for you to see exactly what Benem has been up to and listen to her testimonial. All right. So how do we position you for success in the job market? We've seen those that have gotten jobs already, but we also need to understand how we ourselves can also reach this level. All right. So let's look at it. Okay. So what are we going to do here? So we have additional employability sessions. All right. The first thing that we're going to take you through would be the CV review session. All right, so we're going to help you review your CV and bring it up to standard. All right, take it from what it used to be, maybe the CV that doesn't get a lot of interviews, to the CV that does get a lot of interviews. So we have CV sessions that we use to help students to optimize their CVs. Now, we also have sessions where we help you optimize your LinkedIn profile. All right. So you have to make sure that you are available for all these sessions to help you answer the questions that you might have about CV reviews, LinkedIn optimization, and even Upwork. For those of us interested in freelance positions, all right, we'll teach you how to optimize your Upwork profile so that you can get those clients. Now, we also have navigating the job market. We'll show you exactly what to look out for when applying for these job roles, how to approach the job market, and how to also excel in this job hunting process. All right. So we want you to be successful. So we are also going to add in making sure that you are job ready. All right. So whenever you have an interview, you can call on us and we are going to help you prepare for that particular job interview, asking you the necessary questions that you need to know before you get into that interview. Go through the testimonials and you're also going to see how we helped most of them to prepare for their interviews. And you can see how excited and happy they've been to get to the point that they are. Now, finally, we also offer you recommendation or reference letters. All right. So for any company that you work with, you can always put Analytics as your go-to, the last place that you worked with. And we're also going to provide you recommendation letters to put you through. All right. We are going to provide you recommendation letters when the company requests for such. All right. So provide a recommendation letter as an employee that has worked with Tenalytics. Now, the next thing that we're also going to do for you is to make sure that you have weekly mentorship sessions, all right? To keep you motivated and also to ensure that you understand exactly what you are doing. So while we are providing all these necessary areas, we're also going to keep you in these mentorship sessions to also enable you to understand why you are here, what you are doing, and what you should continue to do. All right. Now we also have one-on-one on the job support rather. So while you are trying to transition, I believe a lot of people would say, oh, I'm not ready, 3 months is too short and all that, right? So if you are not very confident on the job, once you land that job, we also provide on the job support to help you and help you ensure that you transition into that new role peacefully and successfully. All right. So we don't want a situation whereby you start panicking and all that. We want to make sure that you understand the capabilities of what we've done for you in the classroom and help you see how you can also leverage that in your new job. That's for those of us that would have that inferiority complex, which we are also going to tackle in the mentorship section anyway. All right. So now for the final one, all right, we are promising that, okay, you are going to have at least another extra 1 month of interview preparation meetings with us, even after completing our training. All right. So we are not just going to tell you, oh, you are done with us. We are not going to have any business with you. We are going to continue providing you that support. Anytime you apply for an interview and you get called in, you can book that interview with us, and we are going to pick up that call, schedule that meeting, speak with you on what you need to do to land that job. All right. Remember, your success is our priority always in Analytics. All right. So, how do you join the next cohort? How do you join the next cohort? Before I dive into that, I also want to give us a good insight as to what our learning processes look like right now. All right. So we have a platform called the Analytics Learning Management System. This platform helps us to access all our Watch Me Do It videos and all the necessary mentorship videos that we need for our program. All right. So once we get into the program, we'll learn how to use this particular software, or rather application, to help us in our learning journey. Don't worry, the LMS is a very beautiful tool to use, and I believe we're all going to enjoy using it once we get started. Now, what do we need to do here, right? To join the next cohort, you definitely have to make a deposit or pay some money, all right? So right here on our screen, you can see some of our programs, all right? We have the HR analytics, financial analytics, all right? For those of us interested in HR analytics, financial analytics, we have the same payment for them, all right? So let me give us a quick breakdown, all right? So for dollar payments, the full payment is $750. All right, $750. For pounds, you have to pay £625 for your HR analytics program. And for those of us that are going to be paying in euros, your fee would be £730. And those of us paying in Canadian dollars, that would be 1,125 pounds. All right. So basically, what we do here at Analytics, we provide early bird discounts so that you can secure your position or your slot before the discount is over. Now, this early bird discount is only accessible to the first 30 persons for each program. All right. And these positions do get filled up very, very fast. So to secure your position, you can access this early bird discount, which breaks down the 750 down to $600, and then pounds to £500. Okay, from 625 to £500. For euros, 730 to £580. And for the Canadian dollars, you break it down from 1,125 to £900. All right. This is a good deal, and I would say it is the most recommended. So make sure to secure your slot. And to secure your slot, you don't have to even make the full payment. All you have to do is make a commitment. So your first payment, you have to put in a sum of $400 or £350 or 400 euros, or even 600 Canadian dollars. And for your next payment, you can go ahead and put in the remaining balance for your second installment. Now, Analytics has also provided more opportunities for you, which means that you can contact the Analytics inquiry, right? Or even contact the finance team to find out which kind of payment packages would suit you best. But remember, you definitely have to take advantage of the discount position, right? So if you make payment and hold a spot, you are definitely going to be eligible for the discount fee and not for the full fee. All right. So you can see the code on my screen. You can just go ahead and scan it to get to the payment portal for those of you that are ready to enroll. For those of us that still have more questions, please make sure to fill out that form in our chat. Okay. Make sure to fill out the form in our chat. Okay. So like I said, all right, so this discount is for the first 20 people, all right? Not for the first 30, but for the first 20 people that register, all right? So the numbers are dropping by the month, okay? So the first 20 people that register, I can see a lot of us are dropping some comments in the chat, all right? Don't worry, we are going to go ahead and attend to it once we are done, all right? So we're also going to look at some of our achievements so far. Remember, we mentioned that we've been able to help over 2,000 people transition right from no tech background at all, no knowledge of tech skills or anything like that, from their classrooms down to their first job in tech across the UK, US, and Canada. All right. We've looked at some of the people that have done that successfully in different, you know, areas of the world, from Canada, US, UK, Nigeria, even from Nigeria, working with other companies outside of Nigeria. All right. We're also going to look at some of the achievements that Analytics has done. So you can get access to this material. You can also follow us on on all the social media platforms. We have the links here in this particular slide. So go to our Instagram, go to YouTube, go to LinkedIn, follow Analytics, find out what is new, what is happening with Analytics, get yourself engaged, get yourself familiar, to make sure that you don't miss any opportunity that comes up with this organization. All right. Analytics is the place to be. Trust me, there are a lot of satisfied customers, a lot of people that have gone through this place and never want to leave, So make sure to grab the opportunity once you get it. All right. So you can see there are a lot of activities going on with Analytics, a lot of programs. We have a hackathon as well coming up again this November. So like I said, follow the social media pages to make sure that you don't miss a thing. And for those of us that want more information about the programs, make sure to fill out that form. All right? Make sure to fill out that form. So right here, we have more information about students that have gotten jobs. You can, if I go through, you will see a long list. All right? A long list. All right. So make sure to follow us on social media. YouTube, you will see all the testimonials. And like I said, once you get this material, click on the links of listen to Chike, listen to Solomon, and you will hear all these people talking about how they were able to fully transition into diverse roles from the programs that we teach. Remember, we teach roles, or we prepare you for skills that are easy, very easy to transition to. All right. So I'm just going to take a few questions right now, and then we call it a day. I know you guys have had an amazing time so far. So I'm just going to look for some of our questions that we have here. All right, so I can see a question from Dare. All right, so nice session, Mary. Thank you very much. You guys are doing a great job. My elder brother joined the May batch and he has secured 2 remote jobs in the US. Wow, amazing. All right, so you can see this is absolutely fantastic. All right, I want to make payments, but I am pleading to give an extra discount so that I can pay 800K. All right. Dare, I would like you to reach out or fill out that form, all right, and also make your request known. Somebody will reach out to you and speak to you about the financial availability, all right? Every financial package that should be made available to you, they will definitely communicate that to you. All right. So for the discount remains how it is right now. As you can see on the screen, there's no extra discount. What we can do is to create a payment plan that is suitable for your pocket or present or current condition. All right. So whatever it is, we are here for you. We are going to make sure to help you to get you across the finish line. All right. So please make sure to reach out to. You can see Lydia has been posting information on the group. So be part of the first 20 people to secure this discount. Make sure to get this discount period. Secure your position, book a slot. Do not miss out on this opportunity. All right. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Yes, there's also 3 payments installation. All right. So you can pay in 3 tranches. All right. Do not forget to fill out the form so that you can get the right package or secure your position. Will there be a master class for this for data analytics? All right. There will be a master class for all the programs. All right. So make sure, like I said, follow all the social media pages. Whatever you know, information you see there, you definitely know that it is time for that. All right. So follow it judiciously, turn on your notifications, and anytime we post, you should be able to, you'll be the first to know about what we have planned next. Okay, what we have planned next. All right. So when is the next cohort for full stack data analytics? All right. So I believe you mean full stack data science. The next cohort, all right, please make sure to fill out that form. All right. And we'll keep you in contact. So we have a cohort being registered for right now for December and January. All right. So be part of that cohort. All right. Be part of that cohort. Secure your position, lock it down, and get yourself ready. All right, secure your position. You've seen the forms already. Click on it. For those of us that are ready to pay, you can go ahead, click on the main stack link. For those of us that still want to make more inquiries, fill out the form. All right. So I would like to say to everyone that joined the call, thank you very much. It has been an amazing time with you guys. I mean, having you all on the call for this long is absolutely fantastic. I know you guys have learned a lot and you still need to know more. So make sure to fill out those forms and leverage the time that we have had this evening. Make sure to use it to the fullest. All right. So all our questions will also be answered from the form. So fill out the form and we are going to reach out to you to find out and give you personalized answers to your questions. All right. Cheers, guys. Have a lovely weekend. All right. Cheers.